Oh, nice. That's all in here. Oh shit, I think it already made me live. Maybe. Why is it black over there? It shouldn't be. Oh, there it is. Haven't done this down here in a while. Hey, fellow creators, Ben here, and welcome to a live studio vlog. I decided to do it live this time because it's the 50th one. It's a big round number. Um, just my, uh, just my things. So I finally broke down a couple of weeks back and bought myself a wireless headset. I've needed one for years, haven't bothered to get one. Now I have one and I absolutely love it because now I have full range in the studio and actually anywhere in the house. So if I need to get up for any reason, I will not have like, oh, okay, hold on, I gotta put my headset down. Don't have to do that anymore. So that's nice. I might be coughing a little bit periodically throughout this. I've been fighting some sort of a chest cough the past month. But yeah, it's been a thing. I missed last week's video partly because of the chest cough. I didn't wasn't really feeling up to recording anything with while I've been hacking, but it's kind of been off and on since then. So kind of a mixed bag. So this afternoon I am working on. I wouldn't say finishing up because I'm definitely pretty far from finished. But I've been working on this now mixed media piece. It's a very long. It's like 4 inches by 3 feet. So the start of this, the blue that you're seeing up here, you would only really know this. I haven't really talked about this in a vlog or anything in the past um, couple of months because I've been working on it off and on, and it's kind of been a mixed bag working on it. Um, this piece started with the ink splatter stuff I was doing back in February. Then I was like, I'm going to do this as a big watercolor and gouache piece. But in using a bunch of watercolor and gouache, I found that things got kind of dark pretty quick on me. And it picked up on the ink that hadn't been sealed. So, and while that was intentional, excuse me, I found that I couldn't quite get the values that I needed. And so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I decided that I'm going to come in and do the sort of the final lighting and detailing all with colored pencil. So it became a more of a mixed media project. So I was messing with this little mushroom city last night, but there's still quite a bit more I have to do here. And things have been pretty crazy. I also missed last week's video. I apologize for that. Again, I think I literally was just talking about it, and I've already forgotten because I'm like now I'm in depth back into this piece. So yeah, the mushrooms are basically done. I was just adding a little extra value underneath them and on top of them and things like that, and getting actually this one I definitely isn't done because I did a base layer on them and then I couldn't remember what I was doing. So yeah, anyhow, uh, ended up with the wireless headset which I have on now, which is good. It's gonna make my future live streams from the studio a lot easier. And hopefully, I will finally be biting the bullet and getting a webcam that was made in this past decade. Uh, I'm shooting for a good Black Friday sale this year. Even if it's like $10 or $20 off, that's still going to be, not full price, so that helps. Um, so hopefully this shows up on camera all right. Again, this is I don't stream from the studio super often these days, but again with the new headset, I'm hoping that will help me out and motivate me to stream from the studio more often. It's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks overall. Um, a I'll wait a little bit for the the crazier big thing I have to share, but um, I can at least talk about it anyway. So an elderly neighbor of mine passed away earlier this year, and some time ago, when she was still alive, uh, I was invited into her house, and she started telling me all these really interesting stories about how she had, like, with her late husband, had traveled all around the world, and almost everywhere they went, they had bought some sort of like an art piece from a local artist, and there were all these, paintings and things from various various places they stopped along the way. And in cleaning out her house, her family decided that all of the paintings and things that were on her wall, all these pieces of artwork, were of no use or no value to them, so they were literally throwing them. They were throwing them away. And the only reason I know that they were throwing them away is because I came home from work and they were sitting out by the trash cans to get collected. And I'm like, well, I don't know if these are worth anything, at least in the art world or whatever. But at the very least, I could always repurpose the stretchers. First, I'm like, are they throwing away frames? Are they out of their mind? Frames are expensive. And when I went and saw that there were, all these paintings, I was like, I have to take these. So I did. Problem is now I have no idea where I want to put them. They're just sitting in the corner next to the steps. And I'll show you what I got from that pile a little later here today. But at least one of them I had found an actual artist name for, and part some of their other art that had been up as a lot auction a number of years ago, but it was just like an old listing that was online. And one of those pieces was like $300 or $400. So I know at the very least I could probably take these couple pieces to a consignment shop and make a few bucks on them. So the one of the other ones as well, though, is also in really rough shape and definitely needs a trip to an art conservator, which is not something I can really afford. But I also don't want to see the piece sort of lost. Like nothing is newer than like the 70s. So if nothing else, they might be worth something to a small antiques dealer. But I'll have to do a little bit of digging on that, of which that I have not done yet. So that's that. General art-wise, of course, we're back to this piece as well. I think I'm happy with those little mushrooms. I actually want to get a little bit of yellow. I have this cream yellow, which let me sharpen that down a little. I do have to, do need to take into account what I'm doing with lighting for the piece as a whole, and try not to lose that. I am really happy I decided to bring colored pencils into this, though. They are they definitely have brought me closer to my original goal and intention with the piece, which is nice. Okay, that's good for that. I'm gonna stand back up. Excuse me. And I did these other trees the other day, and now I need to do this lower root with this weird big long painting. It's painting, mixed media, whatever. I was using these, and that for my highlights, and that one, and maybe this one. This is such a weird and varied piece that I have to think a little bit while I'm working on it, but I'm also still able to have a little more fun with it. All right, let's see. Most of this is pretty dark. I'm not super concerned about it. I still gotta lay in some of that color anyway. Yeah, this transition with the root here is the harder part of this. I'll start laying some of this in, and then I'll show you. Really want to show off those pieces that I grabbed. I'm still amazed that, like, this is actually it would be the second time in a couple of years that I pulled a couple paintings directly out of a trash pile, and they're not trash. I mean, I can understand, like, clean out old aunt somebody's old relative's house, and like nobody wants any of the stuff, so they just put as much of it to the curb as they can. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, this is original art from, a good 60, 70 years ago. You might want to look into it. And at first, I was really like, if I see a member of their family poking around the house again, I should offer it back to them. And I sat on it for a couple of days, and I was like, you know what? Considering that they, in putting things out to the trash, managed to actually rip a hole through one of the pieces, they don't deserve shit. If you're gonna be that ignorant and throw out these paintings, then you don't deserve them anyway. Also, I don't think they'll be back at this point because there is now finally a for sale sign on the house after them working on stuff for the better part of the past 2 or 3 months. So that's that. All right, let me grab those pieces because I really want to show these off. So again, my biggest problem right now is looking for a place to put them for, at this point, sort of long-term storage. So we have this piece, which I think of all of them is probably worth absolutely nothing. Based on general technique and everything, it feels extraordinarily amateurish. I don't think this is anything in particular, and there's no signature, so that definitely doesn't indicate any kind of provenance of any kind. But it is in a nice frame. So this I will likely unstretch from the strainer that it's on. I mean, it's obviously a little old, but it doesn't appear to be anything of notable value. But if nothing else, I have this really nice frame. All right, so the next one is the one that I think is the only one I've sort of found the artist's name for, which is sitting upstairs. I don't actually know. This took me a while to figure out, because I originally had kind of taken it out of the frame, and I'm trying to avoid the glare here, but it's in a poster frame. There's going to be glare. So this is this sort of southwestern Native American style kind of art, very folk arty. And I looked it up. I thought when I first kind of took the edges of the frame off, I was like, this looks. It doesn't look like paper. It may be a handmade paper. I'm like, is this like animal skin or something? Which it also could very well be. But when I was searching a little bit about the image itself, again, the artist's name and everything that I found about this is that it's on a piece of birch bark that was taken off of the tree and like sealed or whatever. So this one actually might be worth something, since I can managed to get a name. There is a little water damage in the lower right-hand corner, which does have me a little concerned. But I think other than that, this could be a notable piece that might turn me a small profit. I mean, if I manage to sell any of them, it'll turn me a small profit because they were in the trash. I still can't believe that lady's family was just throwing that stuff out. Now this one I can pretty much guarantee that has almost no significance whatsoever. It also has a nice hole in it now. Um, Simple little foresty landscape here with this guy on a horse and fallen tree and stuff. Of what I'm seeing, this is a lot of sort of traditionally. If I didn't already know that this was as old as it was, I would say somebody probably painted this after watching a Bob Ross episode or something. Overall, it's not anything amazing. It is signed, but again, like overall technique and everything like that just tells me that it's probably not anything special. It's also not on its original stretcher. You can tell because it's painted to a completely different edge to where it's stapled. Because my late neighbor had gone to Europe for a lot of her trips, I imagine this was rolled up and then restretched once it came back to the States, and definitely restretched by someone who didn't know what they were doing with canvas. So it's interesting. This one again, I will likely I may repair this one myself just for the sake of practice and stuff like that. But this one's probably also going to get unstretched and rolled up. But an interesting little find. All right, next one is in the absolute worst condition. And if I manage to, this is the one I was talking about, needing conserved. I've seen enough of the Baumgartner restoration videos to know there's a lot going on with this one. Now, what's interesting to me is that I'm pretty sure this is oil, but it's dated to 1958, which tells me that it could be acrylic, but it would be a very, very, very early use of acrylic by an artist, because it was like just starting to gain popularity and actual be in like commercially available. However, what I am seeing with this, aside from that, and it's also in a pretty cool frame, there is a lot of damage here. So there's a bunch of missing paint all on this edge, up in here, big dents up in here. There's missing paint. This, when I looked at this, I'm like, this looks like a repair of some kind, overpaint maybe, something like that. And when I flipped it over, I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of repairs. There are 3 distinct canvas patches which are on here with a very distinctively stiff adhesive. I don't want to say for sure, but my brain says super glue. But if I can muster up the funds, I would actually love to send this to Julian Baumgartner and have him at least have a look at it. I took a bunch of pictures of it, and at the very least, I would love to just have him, because he does offer free estimates on restoration and repair work. And I think it's one of those things where I would at least like to have a number of something in mind, and I think it could be a fun, lot of money to spend on a piece that probably isn't worth anything, but yeah, that's like I again couldn't find, I can't even read the artist's signature. I mean, it's there, it's legible. I don't know what it says though. It's J Jury. I don't know. It also seems to the only thing I found about this piece is that it seems to be reminiscent of another artist's work from the early maybe the early teens and 20s of last century. So it seems to sort of be a replica of or not a replica, but an homage to an earlier artist's work. So it in that sense, it's probably nothing notably original, but considering how much damage is on this piece, I am a little concerned on that overall. And I would not feel comfortable taking it to any kind of consignment or auction house in its current condition. So, but it is interesting, and I also do really like the frame. So. So the final piece is absolutely massive, and it's the only one that I think, at least in terms of what I make, is something that I would personally keep and hang. I don't know how much of this is going to show up. Probably, yeah, definitely not all of it. I'll have to move it around a little. This is a big coastal wave piece from around, it's dated 1971. This is 99% pretty much guarantee that this is acrylic. I would be shocked if this is oil. Just based on the overall sheen and texture of the piece, there's no doubt in my mind that this is an acrylic piece. It's also the only one that's actually in the best shape. There's a couple of little minor spots on the side where it kind of got dinged and banged around, but other than that, this is actually a really cool piece. I could not find anything on the artist. The canvas itself is in much better condition and much better shape, but really, really crazy painting. Hope so. In the future, though, I will learn a little bit more about these. If nothing else, I think getting in touch with Julian from the restoration channel, I think, could go a long way. Yeah, I'm already hacking a lot, which is why I didn't really want to do a video this week either, but I had to give you guys something. So, that's the big events that have sort of been happening here. Mostly I've just been trying to relax a bit and not cough my lungs out. I have the start of another acrylic piece, wee little one, excuse me, off to the side here, that I started the digital concept for, because I wanted to do a digital concept for it, and continue to get more familiar and more experience using Clip Studio Paint. I also considered strictly doing a digital stream today as well, but or instead rather, but decided against it since I did also really want to work on this piece. Yeah, I have a lot to do, but so now that I'm pretty happy with the upper portion, like this whole lower portion is at least another week or two's worth of work to get even close to where I would say I could be comfortable calling it somewhat done. And I'm still debating on it, but I might come in with a black liner pen towards the end and do more like pen work and detailing and add all kind of little extra things into it. Even a little bit of white acrylic or white gouache with a thin brush to detail some stuff out. But I'm not really sure. All of that's still rather up in the air, and I'm mostly just trying to bridge the gap between my initial layers with the paint and now coming in again with the pencil. And actually in having that real big wave painting, even if I end up eventually selling it, I think just having it around is going to inspire me to make something similar, and utilize its interesting dynamics in order to find something that could be a fun way to build into a new piece. Trying to think if there's anything else going on now. Let me think a minute. Can't think of anything. At least nothing overly urgent, I guess you could say. Since we're leaning in towards the last 2 months of the year, there's a bunch of stuff that I probably could talk about now, but I'd actually much rather wait until sort of the end of the year recap and message to my subs video. And for a lot of that stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just wait. Um, varying plans for the new year, and now that I'm thinking about it, I had a lot of plans for this year that got completely derailed once I broke a few bones. So a lot of that might end up just getting put. A lot of the stuff that was my goal for this year is probably just going to get pushed into next year. Not that there was a ton of stuff that I didn't do that I wanted to do, but still more things than otherwise might have been able to get to. Yeah, I feel better and excuse me, better and more confident with my lines in the pencil that I just wasn't getting that with the watercolor. I think the last time I did a watercolor and gouache piece, I did the same thing. I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just gonna throw some colored pencils into this. Oh, my music playlist ended. I'm gonna have to throw some other stuff on in my background, not necessarily your background, but yeah, I can get a lot more going on with this root, especially. Especially as it, and then as it like twists and turns. I was struggling with that a lot of where how and where I needed to get the highlights and the line work to move in all these little spaces, but yeah, having the freedom of the colored pencils really helps out. And I can blend and weave and move those shapes into each other a lot easier than I otherwise would. Team Merc says it's looking good. Thank you, man. Where do I want to go here? Some kind of tunes. Some kind of tunes somewhere. I could open up a new playlist. Or rather, an old playlist that's I haven't utilized in a little while. Perhaps. What do I want to listen to today? I don't know. Weirdly enough, I think my driving tunes. Driving playlist, even though I'm not driving. I might skip a little further into the playlist. Not that you guys can hear any of that, but you know. I just feel so untethered by things not having my other headset on now. Like I remember when I had gotten a new headset after my old one crapped out, and I'm like, maybe I'll get the wireless one this time, and then I didn't, and I regretted it pretty much every day. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Why didn't I just bite the bullet and just get it? So it's not that my old one had crapped out. I was doing something. The old one still works, but I can't remember what it was now. But like something like just annoyed me enough that I was like, screw it, I'm just getting the wireless headset. So I did, and here we are. Okay, it's feeling better. I want to get our sort of ochre yellow going on here. Although it's still a little too distinct here. I mean, I'll at least have to do a little bit of pen work for when I put my figures in. I don't have to, but it would help. And I'm probably going to push a little more grass texture in here as well. But I haven't gotten that far yet. Yeah, that's laying on pretty thick now. That's good. Layer on that wax. You know, it's weird. It just occurred to me. I don't know why I never thought of this before, but I wonder what the kind of correlation is, since I've never really tried it, between colored pencil or crayon work and encaustics. I don't know why that never occurred to me before, but because it is to some degree pigment and wax to a similar way. Or if you could even melt a colored pencil uh, as you would in you know what? Screw it. I got a wax melter. Let's give this a shot. It was cheap. We can we can do this on the corner. I do need to get a lighter though. Let's just see if we can melt colored pencils and turn them into a. I mean, there's usually a little bit more to colored pencils than just wax and pigment. There's usually clay or some other sort of extra binding agent in any given pencil, but it does really beg the question if you could actually do it. And so now I got to try it. Do I think it's going to work? No, it's probably going to make a hell of a mess. But I'd actually like to find maybe an older pencil or like an old Crayola or something here I can utilize that shouldn't. Actually, wait a minute. My old Crayolas are in a different pouch in my drawer. If this works, I may have just discovered something crazy. Alright, let's just get an old Crayola one. We'll use this blue. I'm just gonna break the tip off and put it in my little reservoir and see if that works. Does this want to light? There we go. I bought this a little while back, and it did not work any. It was so freaking much, so much smaller than I was expecting it to be. Let's see, is it doing anything? It probably won't, but I'm curious. I know. I mean, I know it would work with crayons, but I don't know. We'll see. That is a fucking crazy idea. I seriously can't believe I never thought of that before. I think it's just the residual one. I have a. So let me get my needle tool in here. Nope, that is not getting any softer. Okay. I didn't think that would work, but it is very curious. Yeah. That didn't do anything. Okay, so clearly pencils have a little bit more. I mean, I knew they had more to them than that. As long as I have this lit, I'm gonna melt some cheese wax. Oh yeah, that's melting instantly by comparison. Yeah, completely different. My goal is to eventually make a custom wax stamper, but I don't know enough about them to try to do that. Anyhow, turns out you cannot melt colored pencils. I mean, I probably would need it might be possible. I think they actually probably harden them in an oven of sorts. Yeah, shitty little wax melter. I think it was like $10 on Amazon or something like that. More. You have these. I run into these projects from time to time where it's like, oh, I need one of these weird tools that I've never used and I'm probably never going to use again. All right, where are we? Yellow. Here. Bringing some light onto our tree root. All right. I mean, um, there is of course my also infamous art video where I lit a canvas on fire. I think I released that when I hit 1,000 subs way back when. Yep, that's a lot. That's a lot nicer and a lot cleaner than what I was working on with this previously. Of course, this little section of the tree I'm not as huge on. Laid on a little too much wax too quick. I could probably scrape it off, but I do end up risk damaging the paper otherwise. Can always adjust it to be a little bit bluer in there once I hit with this. With this right here, all around. In, out, up, down. Left, right, left, right. Yeah, that's a little better. Just pulling some Pulling some of those lines in there. Yeah, that's better. Just smooth that back out a little. Yeah. This is such a crazy project. I honestly cannot believe I've am still working on this thing after starting it like a month and a half ago. At this point, I am a little bit more determined to finish it now, though. And I think that's kind of what's pushing me through right now is just really like I just want it to be done. I don't hate it at this point, but I've been working on it for too long, and I really want to jump into a painting or something. But I do really I at least want to have it done like by the end of the year, kind of thing. And because this is a mixed media piece, I could literally just finesse it forever. But I also don't want to do that necessarily either. As usual, I'm trying to keep in mind that chat is there. I forget a lot. Both here and Twitch, I just lose track of things. That's looking better. Do have to sharpen this though. A little more sharp. Especially for root details and things. That's important. And then I'll work some greens underneath them to blend them out so they don't look like they're just floating there. Really? Now my nose is gonna run? Hey, you're talking. Now you need to have a runny nose. Great. All right. All right. Let's get my blue. This indigo is actually a harder lead pencil, which actually is unique because it allows me to not only get extra detail but scrape away some of the softer wax. Although I found in using it that I also don't have an equivalent in the softer core pencils. So that little bit ended up being like, oh, next time I'm buying art supplies, that'll be one of those things to add, restock, what have you. But I haven't done this much colored pencil work probably in about a decade, despite having a whole bunch of colored pencils. I just, you know, haven't had a project that I've really needed to utilize this many of them for. Until now. That's the joys of having a well-stocked studio is you're like, oh, this would be perfect for this project. And then you just use it. Even if you think, oh, I'm never going to touch that again. Like charcoal, I almost never touch. 2 weeks ago, I did a charcoal drawing. Like when you need it, like don't give anything away. When you need it, it'll be there. I have oil pastels. I haven't touched oil pastels in probably 10 years either. Probably a little less, but still. But I know when the project and the time comes, I will need them, and then I'll probably need like four new colors too, because I only have like 4 or 5. Pull more of this around too for getting some shadows underneath the roots. That's good. Nothing like a dark colored pencil to kind of even out some of the tones you screwed up in your watercolor. Sharpener. Probably not a huge amount of sharpening though. Working with this pencil is a little tricky though too, because like if it gets too sharp, I'm gonna like basically slice right through the paper, which is why I really wish I had a softer core indigo, but just have to do it the old-fashioned way and layer up some purples and greens and things. I mean, the bulk of the work's already done anyway. So this is really just about extra detailing and throwing a little extra finessing into the coloring. The coloring. That looks a lot better. Probably have to work some of the red and purple from the Mushroom City into the roots a little bit. That way that doesn't seem so foreign. Or maybe it's a good thing that it seems so foreign. I don't know. I have to think on that a little bit. So probably it's the other really good thing about colored pencils is you can make those decisions really, really slowly. Versus paint, where like let me try this. Nope, it definitely shouldn't have done that. Like I have a lot of time to kind of think on things a bit more. Or even some more of this other brown that I had been using before. Now that I'm realizing it, I was supposed to and still will, But I wanted to add blades of grass further up front here too, which is going to make a difference as well. So I have to be a little more careful now going into my greens. 1, 2, 3, get that. You too. Okay. Let's start up here a little bit. It's amazing, but this weird aqua color is actually a lot closer to what's already in the piece. It's kind of hard to see it, but it helps to use that with my layers as well. Kind of crazy. In my lines too, I was really worried about that paper transition where it jumps between the two sections, but I think it's so minimal at this point that you'd be really hard pressed to find it, especially if you just kind of glance at the piece from the side, which was, again, the goal. I really don't remember how much of this piece has made it into. I know I've recorded pieces of other vlogs that featured it, but I definitely didn't. I definitely didn't release those pieces of those vlogs. So this does make for an important video, I guess you could say, to again highlight the stuff that I've been working on. All right, so yeah, adding more green. Just kind of even out the lower ends of the roots here before I start putting the because I'll get a brighter. Actually, do I even have a brighter green than that? I've got a couple in the hard leads that I'll probably end up using, maybe. Yeah, mostly just evening out some lines here. Okay. This is coming together a lot faster than I was expecting it to. I'm kind of in the zone here. Yeah, like this is. I'm actually kind of surprised how quickly this is coming together now that I'm kind of jumping in here. Again, all the foundational work color-wise was basically done anyway, so. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I feel like this is a little too bright on that highlight. I'm actually going to tone that down a little. But I don't want to go overboard. Just a little more contrast in that. That's better. I'm also lacking a bit of extra contrast in here anyway. Evened that color out and lost a lot of my bark texture. Is this the purple? No. I had a purple in here somewhere. I don't know where it went. It disappeared. It's not that, it's not that, it's not that. Where is the... No, that's green. That? No, that's sepia. I don't know where the purple was I was using yesterday. Maybe it made its way back in the... I don't know. I thought for sure... Or maybe I never got it out because it was purple. I don't know. It's not that important. Yeah, that's passable. Alright, let's see if I can manage to get some little thin blades of grass coming up in here somewhere. I like to stick with this green. I really do like this. This green, that yellow. And then this sort of pale green color. Apple green! Alright, see what we can do with these. Gonna sit back down for this guy. Just real lightly over some of the darker areas. That's good, it's subtle. Probably doesn't show up on camera, but... I actually see it more at an angle because I'm pushing and denting the paper more. But it adds that extra bit of dimension to the piece, so I'll keep it, and I like it. Okay, if I go with that... Yeah, this'll show up on camera, the yellow. Still probably also do the same thing with some dark colors too, and I likely will need to. Yeah, this is looking a lot better with a couple little strands of grass in here. It gives it again more because obviously getting closer to the viewer, we have more texture. Still got to think a little bit on our cliff face or rock face in the thing. In theory, I could just slice it off right there if I wanted to, but actually that kind of looks good if I do that. Uh, shit. I like it better without the bottom. But the blue is also I'll even if I finish it at the even if I finish the bottom and I still don't like it, I can always cut it off. But if I cut it off now and it's too soon, then I don't want to do that. I'm so used to paint that my brain's like, what's this gonna look like once it's dry? It's already dry, you idiot. Okay. I'm gonna grab. Actually, I might grab that indigo. A couple of those darker strands in there. Mostly in the foreground, I'd say. The farthest foreground. Look at that. Hang it there. Oh yeah, there we go. It's hard to see with the glare with what I've got. But I'd like to take it down off of this, but then I can't work on it. Well, I can. It wouldn't show up on camera though. But that feels pretty good. Yep. How long have we been going here? It's hard to say. About an hour. Yeah. I kind of also wanted to hop on Twitch tonight, so I might hedge a little. Some extra colors here. Throw some pink in there. Yeah, I'm really highly considering just slicing the bottom off. But I still have a lot to do. But I think this is a good, at least for this one, a good stopping point. I did also want to work on that digital piece today as well, which I'm not going to do live, but should be, I don't know, useful, not useful, who knows. Either way, Hope you guys enjoyed Studio Vlog Live. I talked a little bit more at the top of the show, but I mean, ideally I'd stream the rest of the afternoon, but a piece like this that is notably more concentrated on what I need to do for it versus what I'm in the mood to do. So I do have to think a little bit about that. If anyone's wondering, my two figures are going to be standing on this route right here. But that's probably going to be done in ink at the very, very end. Yeah, so for the cave, I'm going to need to focus on blues a lot more. Luckily, I got out all these blues ahead of time. So it would be blues, varying blues. I'm trying to avoid black as much as I can. That's sort of a nice pale bluish color too. Definitely going to need the extra indigo. And then for balance, oh, hey, I think that was the purple I was looking for. It's brighter than I thought it was though too, so we're not worried about that. So we're going to need that red. We're going to need the red and the violet that I was using in the city. Probably just to add some extra finesse in the cave. And that should balance things out more. That'll probably be good. Yeah, this piece has been nuts, to say the least. You know, an extra proof I can still do a piece without having to record any of the process. Well, I've broken that immediately right now, but again, like if you guys are not on the Discord community or follow my newsletter, you probably have not seen this piece in any capacity of it being attached and painted. Short of the blue splatter that I did at the beginning of the year, this is probably the first of this that you're seeing. And if it is, join the Discord community and follow my newsletter so you can keep updated with all the extra stuff I'm always working on. And things I'm trying and things like that. So, yeah, I think I'm happy with that for now. I'll probably keep using sort of these grays and browns a little bit with this as well. What do we have here? Sort of this deepish. I don't even know if this is black or if this is like a deep gray. I have been using it. It's really hard to tell. I don't know what it's the color name is on the other side of it, and I wasn't the one who sharpened it, so I'm not really sure. So before I hack myself into a coma here, I'll set those colors aside. Extra sharpen on these guys. So hope you guys have enjoyed this little live studio vlog. Yeah, we got a little over an hour, which had I been recording this for a regular vlog, probably would have been the same amount of footage overall that I would have needed to cut together from. So here we are. Yeah, there's a couple of grays in here. Mess with them. Yeah, that'll be my cave set. All these blues and things here. Plus the extra highlights with that. It'll mostly need to be dark too, so there isn't a ton else that I can really do with that. Actually, that probably will be the one place I'll need a little black colored pencil. It's right for that cave section in the center. And I slowly work it out from there. Like so. I said I was going to stop, and here I am continuing to work. So yeah, we'll see what to do. Now that I'm thinking about it, because that's so bright, I wonder if I couldn't. I mean, I know I could mix a little bit of white wash with the ink that I used in the backdrop to mess with down here, which I may do. But at this point, I do need to stop because I am again thinking about all these things. And I just need to let myself sit on it so I don't overwork the piece. Because if I do overwork the piece, then I would be more bothered, I think. So I'd rather hold off and not overwork this and come back again when I have a clearer head. Not that my head's not totally clear now, but again, a piece like this requires a bit more notable concentration, which I don't have a ton of right now. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. So thanks guys for watching this live studio vlog. I'm hoping here's one of my goals for next year. I'm hoping to do more live streams next year. Uh, Maybe like a morning one on one day on a weekend, and then like an evening one like the following week on a different weekend or something. But we'll see. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's vlog and everything like this. And I hope you guys had fun. I did. I got stuff done. It's a win-win. Thanks for watching. Keep on creating, and I will see you guys next time. I want to do this over here first.